Hello everybody, I'm SnipingIsFun, and tonight's video I'm going to bring you guys update to that list I did back at the end of last year, the Wii game releases I would bring out in 2012. I'm going to do an update to that, but it's the same thing but sort of different. I'm cutting down on some games because I'm specifically focusing on 10. And this is because of a certain picture I've been putting on, I put on Facebook kind of a thing. It's end the Nintendo Wii Big in 2012. So it's kind of like a little plan to put into motion to end the Wii with a bang kind of a thing. Like when I did mine at the end of the year, I just put releases out there and had rough month release dates, but I've taken a few games out because I'm trying to be a little more realistic with this video, but I'm trying to put my own take on it and what I would do, but being semi-realistic in this plan, but putting enough games in there to give it a worthwhile last year and give people some variety and some games to pick from kind of a thing. And I do have 10, and as of now, 5 of them already are confirmed for America. And I'm specifically talking about America here, but in general, I'm talking about anywhere outside of Japan, Europe, and Australia as well. But out of those 5 games, about 2 of them have already been released, and the other 3 are still confirmed, and then the other 5 still need to be announced to actually have come here. But if I was doing this plan, I'd be pushing for them to come here, and I'm going to give my release dates on if they were coming here, when I would actually have them come here, as well as talking about the release, month dates for these games that we already know about as well. But like I said, I'm specifically talking about America here, but these 10 games apply to, well, 9 of them actually apply to Europe and Australia, because one of them they kind of got last year. But I'll include that since it was at the end of last year kind of thing. I'll include it in the same thing, but for them it was 2011. For us it would be for America it would be 2012. So don't take this as me talking out again, not including Europe and Australia. I'm just specifically talking about America. I've said this in numerous videos before. I'm specifically talking about America, but in these videos like this, where I'm talking about ending the Wii right, or localizing games to outside of Japan, and Save Us 2012, and End Wii Big 2012, and all these little plans I come up with, and all these pictures I put on Facebook, it's not excluding Europe and Australia. I'm just specifically talking about America, but I'm including Europe and Australia, but not including them at the same time. I'm not specifically talking about them, but I mean this thing applies to them as well, kind of thing. But before we get into the video, I just want to mention the intro video you guys actually saw. I want to actually have an intro video now, and it's a quick little one I decided to put together in Windows Movie Maker, and as time goes on I will update it, and eventually maybe down the line maybe I'll get another program, I don't know, but till then I'll have little slideshows and showing off games, showing off systems, as well as various videos I might keep of myself and just put them together with some words popping up titles reviews and rants and stuff like that, and my face on some videos and some random video game music to accompany it. But I've already taken 4 minutes up here right now, at least my video time, not including my intro. I want to get onto this right here and mention how I would do this. Now, I did do it was a picture yesterday I did on Facebook. It was called End the Nintendo Wii Big in 2012. I include the Save Us 2012, and then I had the Nintendo logo and the Wii logo, and on the outside I had on the top 3 games, on the bottom 3 games, and on each side I had 2, so it's 3, 3, 2, 2, so 10. So it's 10 games in a sense that I think kind of are needed to end the Wii Big. And if I was running the company, if I was going through Nintendo's plans and doing so, I would actually do it like that. But this video, like I said, is if I had control and if I were bringing these games over, what months would I actually bring them over in, kind of a thing. And let's get started. I'm going to get the 5 games that are actually confirmed out of the way. We already know about Pokemon Poke Park. That game came out this month in February, and I have to make an edit for my last video because it came out I misread the commercial from Japan because I'm not used to whole the day and then the month and then the year. I'm used to month, day, year, so I read it as like 11/2 or something like that, which I thought was like November, but really it's like 2/11. But just like the Japanese like date, they usually put the day and then the month, so I mixed it up, and I'm sorry about that. That came out in February, so that's already released. Rather Than Having Fever was also released in February. That's released too, and since let's say I'm talking about Nintendo at this current point, they're already done, and I can't really control them so much. They're done. Mario Party 9 is set to come out next month in March, and I'm not going to change that because that's actually a good date, and it's already set in stone anyways. And then in April I think 6th, is when Xenoblade comes to America. That is Xenoblade Chronicles comes to America, and I'd keep that date too. And I would, as Nintendo, would probably push support through March. Now we get to Last Story, the newest announced game for America, and as of now the temporary release date is in June, but I'd make sure that date actually stays, because if I was Nintendo, I think the smartest plan here to do would be to go into E3, show as much of Last Story off as possible, show some gameplay, and show a trailer, because at E3, as Nintendo should know, they still have to show off Wii stuff. Of course, the Wii is going to take the main focus of E3, and 3DS is going to be like right behind that. But right alongside the 3DS, I think the Wii will be, if not a little bit, if not the same, a little bit less. The DS is probably not going to be at E3 at all. If it is, like 1 or 2 titles. But I think the Wii is going to have just as much like showing at E3 as probably what the 3DS will be. But the Wii U is going to be the biggest thing. But the Wii is still going to be there. What I would do as Nintendo, I would show the game off there, big like gameplay, big trailer, and then I would announce that the week after E3, a week or 2 after, I would announce it's coming out. I was like, you guys want to get your hands on Last Story? Well, good news, you guys get to play it in a week or 2, and then that puts that's a lot of marketing towards the game at a big event like E3, and it gets a lot of people to see it, and then a lot of people go out and pre-order and buy it and everything. You know, it helps build up sales. There you go. And now we're at the 5, as of now, unlocalized games. Pandora's Tower, Earthseeker, Rodea the Sky Soldier, Dragon Quest Collections, and Fatal Frame 2 Wii Remake. And as of now, the Fatal Frame 2 Remake is set to come out in Europe, and I would make sure the game gets brought over here, and to accompany that survival horror, a horror type genre of game, type of game it is, I would have it come out here by October to accompany the Halloween release date. And I think I stated this in the last time that I would release it in Halloween, like around Halloween in October, but this time it's even set more in stone, because since it's released in Europe, it will probably be close to that date when it comes out, so I might have an easier time trying to get it localized over to America too, for it to release. And a survival horror type game makes sense, you know, in October. So I would localize that game here. That's one of the 5 unlocalized games I bring here, and that's the date I would set up. Then there is Pandora's Tower, the last of the remaining Operation Rainfall games. And since Nintendo is bringing out Xenoblade in April, and since I'm most certain Nintendo would bring out, and I myself as Nintendo would make sure I bring out Last Story in June, since that's kind of like a 2-month gap, I would do another 2-month gap from June for Pandora's Tower, and 2 months after June is August, so I would make sure Pandora's Tower is released in America during the August time span, which is still summer. And that's when I'd make sure that's when I would release that. Then we get to Earthseeker. That's a pretty decently known RPG. I mean, it didn't do so well in Japan, but I would look into sales for, let's say, all these other games coming here, the Operation Rainfall games, whatnot, coming here, and look back on games that usually got localized outside of Japan and how much they would sell outside of Japan, namely America in my case, but outside of Japan in general, any country, compared to the Japanese sales, and I would see that they generally sell better. So I'd take the risk, do what it can. I'd make sure someone's going to localize it, like Atlas or NIS America or something. I'd go to them if I could, or go to the original game creators and recommend that to them, or recommend the localizers to look into it, because as of now, Xseed's not doing it. They might change their mind, I don't know, but that I wouldn't go back and try. I go back into, as Nintendo of America, maybe I'd go in and try to maybe put more interest into them, maybe go speak to them, maybe show them more interest in it, but that's not such maybe the best decision to go, so I would do that. But what I would have that game released in, I make sure it comes out in September, because it's the start of the road to the Wii U, like the next couple of months after, like November-ish. All the Operation Rainfall games will be out. People might want another RPG, and I'd make sure that's there to pick it up, right there, right after. And then that gets us to Dragon Quest Collections as well, because I'd make sure that's another RPG to accompany that time span after Operation Rainfall games, and I'd put that in the same month as Earthseeker. I'd make sure they both come out in September to accompany that RPG time span after Operation Rainfall, before the Wii U's release, which would pretty much be bringing Dragon Quest at 10, which you'd want to get Dragon Quest Collections over here to like build up interest for it. Like if you we would put like a sale out there. We would advertise it in the collections, like that game, and we would probably put some kind of deal on there, so it leads them up to wanting to get Dragon Quest 10 kind of thing, and that'd probably be out in like November or December. In Japan at least. Us in America, we'd have to probably push the date to like 2013 or so if the Wii 1 is coming out. But if it's the Wii U one, that's the reason why I didn't include Dragon Quest 10 here, because we don't know if we're getting the Wii one or not. If I was in charge of Nintendo of America, I'd make sure both of them come out. But if I was in control, but what can you do? I'm not including that one though. That would be the 11th game though, if there was one. Which it kind of fits in there though, under Dragon Quest Collections. That's September. And then the final game, Rodea the Sky Soldier, I'd make sure it comes in between the Last Story, Pandora's Tower as a July summer release. So we would be giving 3 big Wii releases over the summer. Last Story in June, Rodea the Sky Soldier in July, and Pandora's Tower in August. And that right there confirms the 5 already announced games, 2 of which are already out, and 2 of which already have release dates, and 1 of which is somewhat release date, as well as the other 5 unlocalized games. And when I bring them out, and I'm going to tell them, I'm going to repeat them one more time just to make sure if you guys missed it the first time. Xenoblade I would keep in April. Last Story I would actually bring out in June, the week or 2 after E3. Pandora's Tower in August, so it's April, June, and August. They're each 2 months apart. Earthseeker in September to accompany that RPG time span after the Operation Rainbow games. Rodea in July to accompany Last Story and Pandora's Tower as the 3 major Wii releases over the summer. Dragon Quest Collections to accompany Earthseeker in that time span after RPGs and after the Operation Rainbow games. Poke Park will stay in February, which is already released. Mario Party 9 will stay in March, the next month. And Rhythm Heaven Fever will stay in February. And I'd bring out Fatal Frame 2 for October for Halloween. Hope you guys like this video. I'm SnipingIsFun, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace. If you want to subscribe, do so. I'll see you guys later.